Before we begin, thank you very much to Samantha S. for joining my Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. And thank you, Samantha, for your patience. Your name got lost in the queue. That was a shout out due last month. I appreciate your patience. I apologize for that. I'm usually much better at keeping these things in line. But thank you to everyone who is supporting. You're keeping the channel alive. I do appreciate you allowing me to continue doing this because you're legitimately the only reason I can. And if you can't afford it, hit like, hit subscribe, or share it around. I rely on you guys spreading the word to get my name out to more people and get the audience to grow. Remember, we're counting down to like hitting 50K, and I want to do something huge at 50K. So I'm counting on everyone to help. All right. So I haven't tier listed in a while, and I'm doing a tier list that I've had in mind for a while. Since I did the Armada toy line tier list, I've been wanting to do one for Minicons as well. Now, I was going to make one of my own, but someone went and made one themselves. Now, here's the problem, is that this one is a little bit scuffed because, well, one, the images are not formatted correctly. Two, there's some remolds mixed in that we're not going to talk about. And there's some combined modes mixed in that we covered in the Armada tier list. I wanted this one to be just individual Minicons, grading them bit by bit without really trying to put too much of the judgment on how they combine or what gimmick they attached to with other figures. This is just how they stack up on their own. So, along with my usual list of Holy Grail, Premium Price, Retail Release, Bargain Bin, and Flea Market, we have added a 6th tier of not grading that we will not be discussing on this video because I don't think it's fair compared to the rest. Also, you're going to have to forgive me. I can't remember every single Minicon's name. I tried very, very hard. But we'll see how we go. So let's get started here. I'm gonna try and go through these quick because there's a lot of them. We have a I want to say Blaze Master. I'm already screwing it up. Now I've experienced all these Minicons, but like getting their names is like another story. All right, so this is the Drag Racer Minicon that came with Blur. Kind of exists because they needed a key to activate Blur's gimmick. So the length is kind of just like inherent to that. As a toy itself, it's a standard Minicon transformation. It's got a big arm weapon as a result of that. It's not fantastic. It's not terrible. It's not doing anything too wrong. So I think it's a good start to just put right there in the middle. Refute. This one is Hoist Minicon. This little stag beetle looking claw mover thing. Yeah, I mean it's got a motor gimmick in it, so like when you move it, the pincers like open and close, which is neat for its size. It's a really tame Minicon. It really is not an impressive piece itself. That is a bargain bin Minicon. It's a shame, is that Hoist was so good, and then his Minicon was so bad. Jolt. Jolt suffers from a few issues. Now, transformation-wise, it's actually not bad at all. I actually like how it looks in general. It does suffer a little bit because the legs do not have any internal support. So, like, on the inside of the legs, it's just empty. It's just a cavity. There's nothing there to act as a heel spur. So he can only stand up when his legs are closed together. That does limit him a little bit. But overall, he's not bad. I'm not sure like how exactly I want to like start getting these into like premium retail. Right now, I'll put him up there in the top side of the retail. We'll see where he goes from here. Overrun is the one that came with the deluxe sized Armada Optimus. This was a really nice surprise because it's essentially an upgraded Target Master that has a vehicle mode itself and a decent little gun mode for Optimus to have. That already puts him pretty high up there. It also helps the fact that he's not really doing anything inherently wrong. Like, the proportions might be a little bit lanky, but it's a Minicon. What do you expect? Because it's got the extra functionality, because it just looks good, I'm tempted to just put it right there in the Holy Grail tier for now. All right. Nightbeat. Oh, poor Nightbeat. So we have a somewhat decent little motorcycle mode. Okay, so we'll give it that. We'll be completely fair here. It's not Plastic Addict, so we're going to be completely fair. The robot mode leaves everything to be desired. It is a lanky nothing that looks like it's barely transformed, and it's never been an impressive piece of meat. It's why the entirety of the review was me laughing at it. So we're going to we're gonna put him. See, do I put him? Because I'm trying to think of who we've got on the way. You know what? Yeah, I can't just go by like, oh, but it's a nice vehicle. No. As far as Minicon goes, he is a bad Minicon. He is a bad one. Liftor, I want to say the forklift for Smokescreen, which was the best part about his whole figure. It's a nice little Minicon. Even if I can remember the name or not, if that's the right name or not, whatever it is. But it's a neat little figure. It has a decent little bit of articulation for its size. Yeah, and the forklift is just like a big, hefty, like battle vehicle type forklift. I put it up to premium. It's lacking a little bit of feature that would have put him up to holy, but yeah, he's probably the best part about Armada Smokescreen, in contrast to Smokescreen's upgraded body. I should remember Rollout. Yeah, it's the main component of Overload, which I would argue is not even Minicon, because it becomes an integral piece to the full robot mode. It's not like any of these others that add a feature. This one adds a head. This one's kind of important. I'm just now sitting here realizing, why was that toy never redone into like some weird Power Master Optimus retool? Like Optimus Prime, like I know they did an Optimus Prime head because of like Sentinel Maximus, I think it is. But like that, it really literally just kind of works the way the way Power Master Optimus does. Anyway, it's a pretty basic Minicon on its own. It's big, is what I will say. If I'm judging it just on its own as a Minicon, I'm putting it up to premium, if only because, yes, it's huge for what a Minicon is. And yeah, it's actually pretty good looking at that. Long Arm. This is Red Alert's Minicon. It's a pretty basic crane truck. I'm not going to waste time on him. He's pretty much essentially just what he looks like. It's, Micromaster level transformation, nothing like terribly special or twisting to him. Rollbar works a little bit differently. However, Rollbar's transformation does leave him with these tiny little nubby arms that don't really do a whole lot. And I wish there was just a little bit of deco on his on his Jeep mode. There's a little bit on the back side, but nothing in the front. I know Minicons don't get a whole lot of paint in general, but it would have been nice to see a little bit of something. He'd probably be high up bargain bin. I'd definitely put him above Refute. Dune Runner. Okay, so here we get into more gimmicky Minicons. So it's a very simple transformation. It's flip legs out, raise arms up. Yeah, that's your Micromaster transformation. The gun turret bouncing back and forward as you push it along, that's not too bad. That does bring him up a little bit above your other standard Minicons. I will give him that. And form-wise, I don't mind him so much. I don't think he's thrilling, but he's not bad. Commodore. Now, this is where Minicons are fun and unique. It is basically a moon rover as a transporter. This one came with Jetfire. It's not a bad take on the character. It's not a bad take. I don't think it does some. I don't think it's like terribly impressive, but at the same time, I think it's really unique. So I'm inclined to put it high up on the retail release side of things. Sparkplug. Okay, so this is the one that came with Optimus Prime himself, and this one alone is also really, really good. This is one of those Minicons where I feel like they could have upscaled it to like a deluxe or scout size, and he could have been great. The transformation works really well. It's a little bit more involved than typical. He is a little bit Bumblebee. But he is really, really good. I'm putting him high premium. I'm tempted to bump him to Holy Grail status. Let me see where the rest go. All right. Crumple Zone. Crumple Zone is unique. Like, now we've already judged Crumple Zone based on how he works with Cyclonus. It's a fantastic integration. Judging him on his own, we basically have another Dune Runner. He kind of does the same thing. It's just a matter of he looks a lot beefier because all of his mass is in his upper body. So I should put him right where Dune Runner is, but I'm going to put him a notch above because I like his overall look and design better than Dune Runners. Blackout. I really like Blackout, not only because, yes, the integration with Demolishor, but also I do really like the way he functions. It's not a standard transformation size. It's not a standard transformation style. He's just a squat little armored truck with 2 big guns on top, but the guns can also be on the side too, and that will actually let you aim them upward as anti-air stuff. So you get a little bit of variation with him. He looks really good too. Very clean, very efficient transformation. I'm tempted to go pretty high on him. Premium. Inferno. So again, basic Micromaster-esque transformation. You get a waist turn in there too, but still pretty simple, essential stuff. His big deal was the fact that he has a launching missile, like thrust gimmick engineering and budget went into giving him a firing missile. So gimmick-wise, he's a step up. Appearance-wise, I think his design's okay. It's a little bit more typical, but it's neat. It's neat. I like him. Wind Shear, the one that came with Wheeljack. I really like this one. He's got these like 3 clawed hands, like he's got spark extractors on his arms. I love the sleek stealth jet mode he forms, and the transformation's neat on this one. This is one where I feel like he's a little bit more unique in what he is. I think that's what keeps Sparkplug out of Holy Grail is the fact that he's just a car. He does a really good job, but he's just a car. Like a tiny little stealth bomber, and stealth bombers we don't get often in Transformers. So I actually really like that one. Oh man, this is the Minicon that came with Skywarp. I want to say Thunderwing. I might be wrong. But it was fun. Like, considering they replaced the Minicon, I was actually surprised at how nice this one turned out. Like, it's a really nice look. Again, it's a little bit more unique as a jet mode. I'm not gonna put him terribly high, but I do want to put him up there. I never actually had the red repaint they did in Japan, so that's my experience with the mold. Swindle. All right, so Swindle looks cool. He's an F1 car that came with Starscream. It's a nice looking vehicle. It's a nice looking robot. The problem is you have 0 functionality after that point. So he looks good. He does look good. And obviously red and black. I gotta like the color scheme. But on his own, I really wish he did a little bit more. I'm not gonna doom him to the lower tiers, but I do think he doesn't quite stack up. For his appearance, I put him in retail. Function-wise, he's not all that great. All right, we have Leader 1, Megatron's personal Minicon. He keeps things pretty simple, but I do like the overall look to him. It feels like Megatron was given this Minicon specifically because it gives him a little bit more armament, because you can mount it as like an arm-mounted gun. So he's a little bit target master functionality, but he also has this nice standard style proportions. He doesn't go one weird way or another like some of the Minicons do. He's just like a level playing field type Minicon, but he's a good one. So I'm gonna put him up into premium. Oh my God. What was the what was, I'm trying to think. What was the snowplow? I'm trying. I should know this. Iceberg. All right. So Iceberg again. We have the little rolling gimmick. His rolling gimmick doesn't make as much sense because it makes his snowplow flex, which just makes the whole snowplow part look a little bit flimsy. And he's actually even less inspired than I think than some of his other compatriots on that team. I'm not really big a fan of him. Let me put him lower. Not Draw to judge. No, no. I'm not big on Iceberg. I will admit that Iceberg is not as interesting to me. Keep in mind, it's all personal preference. Ramjet. And Ramjet again. Okay, so now we're dealing with Tidal Wave's Minicon, which ironically is the smallest one. His functionality with Tidal Wave is great. If we judge him on his own, he is very bare bones transformation, and he does not have much functionality on his own. I think you get by on a nice appearance, but other than that, he pretty much just exists for the Minicon gimmick with Tidal Wave, which I don't think is enough to keep him out of the bargain bin. It's an okay Minicon, but it suffers for what it's supposed to do. All right, here's where we get a little bit weird here. So these are two Minicons that really are not fair to judge, right? All right, so it's Rook and Crosswise, and these are the heads for Sideways, and they really just function as that. Now, together, they form a rider for the bike mode, and that is awesome. The individual Minicons are literally just heads with arms and legs. They're headmasters, so they don't really have any independent functionality of their own. I mean, these are really hard to judge on their own. So, you know, in fairness, and this is really not fair of me to exclude them at all. It's not fair to exclude them. So, yeah, on their own, I can't really judge them as Minicons because they don't function like any other Minicon on the board. And the combined mode would mainly be up here in the not grading. This is going to be a controversial choice. I'm choosing to not grade them because I do not think it is fair to judge them individually. We're here to judge individual Minicons, and they are just, it's not fair to make that comparison with them. So, okay. Please understand, I'm working with what I can. Dead End. Unicron's personal Minicon, who should be the size of a moon, if you kept track. The irony to him is that, and I think one of the jokes that we had back in the day is that he transforms from a ball to a robot better than Unicron does because he doesn't require any shell. So he's actually kind of ironic in that. Now, in the ball form, he's a Bakugan, right? Like, it's not a whole lot to him. It's just a moon. But you know what? He forms a nice-looking robot, comes with his own gun already installed. You know, and hey, you want to talk unique, he's a moon transformer. So I'm going to put him top of retail. I might be tempted to put him premium when all is said and done. Now we're getting into Destruction Minicons, where we're doing the rolling gimmick again, but this time I think it is far more substantial. Buzzsaw is probably my favorite. It's a really unique transformation for a Minicon. I like the overall look. And yes, he does have this great little Buzzsaw Trench Digger mode that not only looks cool, but also spins when you roll him. He reminds me of a BattleBot I really liked back in the day. I'm actually going to put him Holy Grail. I think of all the ones that like roll and rotate, he definitely comes across the best. Drill Bit. Drill Bit, not as much. I don't like the fact that this drill is on the backside hurts it a little bit. And the fact that he has this like one giant drill arm and one tiny stubby T-Rex arm always kind of throws me off. He's not bad, especially if you combine him with someone who has that who can like activate that rolling gimmick. He's okay, but he's definitely not up there with Buzzsaw. I'm gonna put him like right there. I think he's a quirky little one. I like him. Dualor is another one where the transformation is dirt simple, but the function is actually really good. It is like dual, like cannon blasting, that kind of ratcheted thing. That works well. It's not the best looking Minicon, unfortunately, so I'm not going to put it too high. I think it's fair to put him right where Drill Bit is. Prowl. Okay, we're going. All right, so now we're entering like Target Masters. As you know, as Minicons, there's 2-3 packs of Minicons that form weapons and vehicles that are super cool, and Prowl is the gun amongst them. It's a quirky little gun, but it kind of works. I think it works better when it's not in translucent plastic. Not for my usual reasonings, by the way, just because I think when you're making a big blaster weapon, a solid one looks better. But the function on Prowl works really well. Like, it does mean that his robot to vehicle is pretty simple, but he looks really good on top of that. So, you know what? He goes pretty high up on premium. He only suffers a little bit because I wish the gun mode was maybe just a little bit more solid, but that's it. Makeshift has another one. It's the VTOL helicopter, but it also has this double barrel gun mode that you can attach to things. That works really well. Overall look is good. Function is good. I think I like him a little better than Prowl in that regard. So he goes up to premium as well. And then we have Firebot. Not the most original name. Firebot's the big chunky one. Simple transformation on this guy. And really kind of a simple effect too. Like you basically fold him in half in vehicle mode and he's just a giant rack of missiles. Which is cool to be able to arm things with, but function-wise, I don't think it's as neat as turning into a handgun or like having those spinning chain gun things. So I'm going to put him a little bit lower. I'm going to put him a little bit lower. I think him high up retail kind of spot. Kind of around there. Yeah, we'll move it. Yeah, no. Commodore definitely above Inferno. Let's put him there. All right, we have one more. What was the truck from that team? Whatever. It's a weird one this time because it's actually a winch. So it's a very simple transformation again, but also a winch gimmick with a little string and a hook. And it's a neat little trick, except for when the string runs out and you can't roll the toy anymore. So it's on principle of like you can't roll it infinitely like the others, that brings him down a notch or two. So I'm gonna put him. I think I like his design a little bit better than Iceberg, so I'm gonna leave him above Iceberg, but I do still think he's not great. All right, God, the race Minicons. Okay, so can I even remember their names? Spiral for the blue one. Definitely unique transformation. So this was what was cool to me, is that because they were just standard cars that weren't hindered by a gimmick, they actually had this way of being like mini versions of what G1 could be if these were larger. So the transformations are actually really interesting to me. Now they're a little bit flimsy because they're on ball joints and it's ball joints combined with sliding joints, which is not a great mix. But you do end up with some really cool toys. So Spiral is definitely... Spiral's good. Spiral is good. I do like the overall look. Vehicle mode is nice. Not that terribly... I don't think premium on him. We're going to reserve that. But I definitely think he's definitely a really solid one. Oval is absolutely my favorite. He has this very traditional look to him in the robot mode, and the fact they could pull that off in such a tiny package, I thought was super impressive at the time. Decent little bit of articulation for a Minicon, super nice vehicle mode. I'm putting him up here in the premium. And then backtrack. In my head, it was like, it's back something. Backstreet, backtrack. We're going with backtrack. He comes out a little bit weirder than the others. He's got this big block chest thing, and like he still has like ball joint articulation and all that, but I don't think he comes out quite as interesting as the others. He looks a little bit more standard than Spiral, while still having like that level of functionality. So we're going to put him a little bit lower. I think right there is about the good spot. Somewhere high up retail. Sure Shock. So this is where we get into street action Minicons, and these were always fascinating because they aren't typically vehicles. They are like vehicles you'd call kids' toys as well. So as a scooter, it's okay. It's got gigantic things hanging off its arms. It doesn't transform a whole lot. You can't separate the legs on its own. She's not a really great Minicon, is she? So Sure Shock has to go low. Hate to do it to you, but yeah, you're not great on your own. High Wire is probably one of the more fascinating Minicons, if only because how do you make a transformer out of a bicycle? Well, they did it. Is it a great Minicon? No. Is it ambitious? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Considering it's something we didn't think was possible as a Transformer, and they did it at a tiny size. So guess what? He goes up higher. I can't put him up too high. On an engineering rate, he's impressive. On just like a general appearance, he's weird. He's weird. So we'll put him middle, the retails. And then Grindor, a skateboard. Admittedly thick skateboard, but it could be a motorized skateboard for all we know. It's not terribly uncommon. I do like the overall look of the character once you get it into its robot mode. The shoulder wings are kind of a cool little touch. I'm gonna put him. He's probably my favorite one of the. The street action Minicons. All right. All right. We're into space Minicons now. So. Oh my god, can I remember their names? Can I actually remember these names? Skyblast, right? Because the Energon Omnicon stole his name. I like the idea of a space shuttle transformer at this size, like a full rocket shuttle. He looks really, really good in that mode. The robot mode is a little bit odd because he's got like one weird arm and then one like rocket arm kind of thing. So like it's an offbeat Minicon, but I kind of like it for that reason. And again, we're getting into a unique vehicle. From before this and after this, there is no like straight up just like rocket missile like transformer. It's all space shuttles. So I'm inclined to put him a little bit higher. I want to put him up to premium because I do overall like how he functions as a toy. He actually is kind of really unique. I don't think Holy Grail, but I don't think retail release either. So there we go. God, I can remember this one offhand. Payload. Okay, so let's be honest. Like, Payload is there to be a handle for the gun mode. He does come across pretty well because he can carry. He can carry Skyblast, which is a neat little trick. But on his own, it's an underwhelming Minicon. I'll put him up there because he looks good, but it's a super, super simple Minicon. And then Astroscope, again, unique. We had never had a satellite transformer before. Now, ironically enough, there were other satellite transformers after this, Shock Blast and Soundwave. He is unfortunate because he is very unique. He is exceptionally unique, and he has a launching missile gimmick, so that should be bonus points, but the rest of him falls apart. In some cases, literally. His legs being two little panels that come together without pegging together means the legs can be really flimsy, and he doesn't have a wide foot base, which his big gun arm really needs. He's a very off-balance toy. Very hard to keep stood up. So the uniqueness of the vehicle mode is going to help him, but he has some quality problems that I don't think they thought out very well. Oh, okay. We have our first C Minicon. I have a list I keep referring to just in case I can very quickly come up with their names. Waterlog. Waterlog is already my favorite of this one. So this is a pressure launch missile set of characters. I do like the overall like matched look between them. That was kind of unique for Minicons, and I do really like how he functions and overall how he looks. I'm putting him up to, you know what, because he has that firing missile and has a super cool look to him, I'm gonna put him Holy Grail. I really, really like Waterlog. Jetstorm. So this is a sore one for me because function wise he's great. As a Minicon, he does have a good transformation to him. Overall, the engineering on him is really good. It's the clear plastic that holds him back. Now, I'm not judging the repaints in this. And keep in mind, the Dark Saber Minicons were not in translucent plastic, so they didn't suffer the same problems. This one, mine literally fell apart. Like the arms literally came apart because of the clear hinges. So I'm not going to judge it for clear plastic. I'm going to judge it based on the engineering in the mold because there are versions of it that really work. And for that, I do think he's a really, really nice Minicon. All right, next up for the waters, for the Sea Minicon, Storm Cloud. Storm Cloud is a lot more basic as a speedboat. He's a much more simple transformer. Not too bad, but nothing like terribly fancy for me either. I think he goes up to the retail somewhere high up. So he gets in there with the gets in there because of a more unique vehicle mode. So he's a little above some of the others. And then, oh, one more if I can quickly pull it up without dragging this video on any longer, because I know it's running longer than I already intended. Oh well, I don't have his name. This one is a weird one because it's a boat transformer with a solar panel on the top, just so they had some kind of bulk to give him some kind of like arms. Ocean Glide. Ocean Glide was the name. Okay, so out of these, I think Ocean Glide is probably my least favorite. The overall design doesn't work for me. And yeah, it's an oddball. It's an oddball. Downshift. So again, we have something a little bit more of akin to a traditional transformer. Car hood forward type thing. Big arms. Big ol' arms and a nice vehicle mode. It's a nice vehicle mode too. Not the most balanced because of that big heavy chest, but I don't mind the look of him. I'm inclined to put him somewhere around there. Mirage suffers the same problems that Swindle has. They're not retools of each other, by the way. They are completely unique engineering. And Mirage does get a little bit more of a functionality because you have to rotate his waist to transform him. But I do think he doesn't look as good as Swindle does. Not only because the red and black works for me better than the yellow and the gray, but also, it just like they took away some of the sharp lines on him, like the spoilers squared off, which makes him look a little bit more boring. The head sculpt I don't think looks as neat. I'm gonna put him lower. Yeah, so he doesn't look as cool, but he has the same functionality problems. And then we get to Dirt Boss, who's the SUV of the Minicons. And a fairly simple transformation that ends up a little bit odd. He's got this bright yellow head that really doesn't work because it kills all the detail on it. It's a nice little solid Minicon, I'll give him that, but overall not terribly thrilling to me. Yeah, I'm going to put him low retail. He's not great, but I'm not going to bargain bin him either. We're waiting to fill up that flea market. There's a few here that are probably going to end up in there. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. All right, we're on to the land military Minicons now. Wreckage is again pretty basic. I think there's literally Minicons that work, or Micromasters that work exactly like him, save for the pressure launch missiles. He's not too bad though, and his overall look is really nice. I'm gonna put him somewhere up here, because we're gonna need to put the others higher up than that. I'm telling you right now. So I shouldn't be doing this because I'm stalling the video by trying to look him up. Knockout again, launching missile, handles it way better than some of the others because it's shoulder mounted like a G2 Megatron situation. And the overall look to him is pretty tough and powerful looking. I really, really like this one. I'm putting him somewhere right there up in premium. I think he's up there for me. And then we get to Bone Crusher, who's not even a question. I'm putting him top of Holy Grail. One of the most unique transformations in Transformers, period, results in this beautiful asymmetrical design with a decent level of articulation for his size. This is a super impressive Minicon. Now, he does have just like that big missile arm thing, but I will excuse that based on how much else is so good about him. Really, really fantastic. All right, I apologize for that. I didn't realize how hard it was getting to see all of this. This is stretched out way more than I'm used to. Don't take that out of context. All right, let's get into Sure Shock's new form. This is a really bad-looking Minicon. This one suffers so much for the sake of the combined mode. I gotta put it low. I think this is a flea market level Minicon. The vehicle mode's okay, but man, the robot mode is so nasty looking. High Wire, I think, is pretty much on par with the original High Wire. The motorcycle is an upgrade from the bicycle, but function-wise, it's not a whole lot better. Where did I put Highwire? I'll put you there just because you're a little bit less imaginative. Runway is a Minicon. Okay, so not too bad. A little bit plain compared to his other air defense Minicon brethren, but it's okay. So, I like the colors a little bit. Look kind of muted. I think this is, again, like, man, we're loading up the middle of this list. And okay, and Grindor here. So the hovercraft mode is neat. I like the hovercraft mode, but the robot mode is not great at all. Super thin arms, really stubby legs. I don't think it's as bad looking as Sure Shock's second form, but definitely not great. Definitely not great. Drill bit number 2. This is the one that comes with Metroplex. And it's more of the same, really. I don't think it's as nice as Leader 1 because the legs are meant to go forward for the drills. It means it does not look nearly as nice. It basically has the same functionalities. So it's going lower. I really think Leader 1's great. I think Drill Bit is a big downgrade. So somewhere off in the middle there. Oh, what were you? Oh, no. This is the one that came with Quick Mix. It's another drill. It's another little drill machine, or like a standing laser. It's okay. Kind of unique, but nothing like terribly exciting. God, I wish the picture was better. I apologize for how scuffed this suddenly is. And then I have, I believe, Wide Load. I believe it's called Wide Load, which is what we are. This is the one that comes with Metasaur from Cybertron. It's not bad. It's not bad. The functionality is okay. The look, I think, is actually really good. He's like big and beefy for a Minicon. I'd like to put him high retail if I can get away with it. It's my list, so I know I can. Safeguard is, again, a super nice little vehicle mode. He doubles as a target master without really any extra transformation, but the look of the toy is really, really nice. Like, he looks like an ancient weapon. I'm not going to put him too high because it's still simple on the engineering, but I think that works. The second Jolt, another Minicon helicopter, but this one thought out far better than the previous one. The look with the bubble head is unique. He transforms way better than the previous Jolt, and he does have stability. I'd like to put him pretty high too. Maybe him low premium, somewhere around there. 6-speed. 6-speed is, again, more to the traditional side of Transformer design and style, but looks really, really good doing it. I think it comes across better than the other Minicons who are attempting it. Maybe not as good as Oval, but he is a really, really good Minicon. I think Cybertron in general had super nice Minicons when they were released on their own, just because they had like so much more practice with the budget at that point. Right? So, like, if it would seem to me they had a lot more that they could work with. Sonar, again, unique. Again, it's like one of those experimental space shuttles. So, he definitely has that going for him, and doesn't suffer from the clear plastic nearly as much as Jetstorm does. So, this one, like, if I put Jetstorm up there and ignore the clear plastic, then I think I have to put him up to premium. And, while I'm thinking about it, here. I'm gonna upgrade Sparkplug up to Holy Grail because, yes, very, very, very good Minicon. Reverb, last of the classic team. This is also it's another really nice Minicon with a more unique little transformation for the size. Again, they kind of nailed it. I'm gonna put him right there with 6-speed. I think that works pretty well. You know what? No, I'm just going to put all three together. I think all three are equally great. How about that? Whole team goes together. Deep dive. Okay, you want to talk unique vehicle modes and Transformers that we never get. It's a submarine. And don't tell me that we got a submarine with 6-shot. You know what that was. You know that was no submarine. But this is legit submarine. Haven't seen one before or since, and it just happens to be a really nice Minicon on top of that, with some decent little bit of articulation for his size. I'm inclined to Holy Grail him. I like him that much. Long arm, a different long arm. This is the Decepticon one. And again, we have a little bit of asymmetrical transformation to him that makes him quite a bit more unique. This is where Cybertron again showed some really cool tricks with how they transform these guys. Really good look. I mean, it's Constructicon-esque, so of course it's a good look. Maybe not quite as cool as Bone Crusher. Maybe not quite as cool as Bone Crusher, but I definitely want to put him high up in the premium for that. Overcast. This one, not so much. There's a little bit more of a basic nature to him and how he's structured, especially because he has to carry 2 pressure-launched missiles. That does give him a little bit more function, but I think it's at the cost of giving him this really odd look. I'm going to put him high retail because he has this nice little function to him, but that's about it. Broadside. This is it's just fate that broadsides always come up pretty bad. The tank mode's fine, but that's where everything ends, because the robot mode is absolutely horrendous. I hate this thing. I hate this Minicon. It can't stand up. It's the same problem I have. Like, this is why you end up on Plastic Addict, because you can't stand. You cannot stand up on your own 2 feet. Sledge, likewise. I don't know what happened. Figure out what happened, because Cybertron came along, and the Minicons got way better, like, in general, and then Cybertron came along with ones that were supposed to be in Cybertron, but they would seem like a downgrade in most cases. Like, Sledge is terrible, too. Oh, I really do not like Sledge either. That toy literally comes apart, because, like, he's got parts literally just pegged together. I hate that one. Hate that one, too. Is this one also wide load? Oh, they were starting to reuse so many names once they got to this point in the Minicon game. Oh, I can't remember, and this video is going way too long as it is. I have some other places to be. Yeah, let's go with wide load. I don't care if I'm wrong at this point. He's okay. I do think he makes a really good way of reusing those big tires as chests. So he has these big tire pecs going on. It's a good way of using big tires, but other than that, like, you know what? No, I'm gonna put him higher up on retail. He does have a nice little look to him. I don't really mind him so much. Triceraton. I want to say Triceraton because that's what they always name these things. Knockdown. Okay, never mind. Knockdown. Knockdown's not bad. It's cool that we started getting Beast Minicons, you know? That took so long to actually get some Beast formers in the Minicons, and he's not a bad one. I'm gonna put him somewhere off in the middle. Decent look, a little bit weird proportions in robot mode, but not terrible. Not terrible. Swoop, on the other hand, I thought was really clever. Like, there's not a whole lot of meat to a Pteranodon to actually make a beast mode out of and a functioning robot, but they did it really well here. They did it really well here. I'm going to put him somewhere on the low side of the premium price. I think that's good. And then Terrorsaur. No, the Pteranodon's not Terrorsaur. The T-Rex is. Name dumping. It's a wonderful thing. He's pretty basic. Not going to lie. Nothing terribly special about him other than the fact that he is a T-Rex. So slot him in right there in the middle. Who are you? Oh God, this is another late Armada Minicon that has a weapon mode, and actually a cool weapon mode. So I like to get the name if I can pull it up fast enough. I really needed to find a better list for all this. Or I wish the names. I wish you could highlight it and just show the names. That would be cool too. Whatever. I'm running out of time. But it's a cargo jet Minicon that forms this big 6-barrel blaster. I thought that was a really cool function for him. He's gonna go somewhere up in the premium because of it, because he has this really neat little trick to him, because he's a triple changer. Oh, this is another weird classics one. This is Dive Bomb, which you can't do in a helicopter. If you're dive bombing in a helicopter, it means you're crashing. I don't like this one either. Like the jet, yeah. The helicopter mode comes across really, really nice, but the robot mode lacks most functionality and comes across really spindly and awkward looking. Also, the helicopter blades, is it your big spinny propeller cap? No, you look Inspector Gadget looking doofus. I'm not a fan of that one. Cool looking vehicle mode, but that's about as far as he got. Firebot 2, the classics version of Firebot, and oh my god, this is a glow up from being the bulky one to this lovely proportions on him. He's got dual cannons on his arms, a really solid looking vehicle mode. I want him up in the Holy Grail tier. I think he looks fantastic. Strong arm, our first example of a strong arm being a police vehicle of some sort. Unique transformation, super unique transformation, but the robot mode is not fantastic as a result. Credit for being special and unique, but the functionality suffered tremendously once you got him into the robot. Night Scream, a dragon minicon, and an okay one. I think he comes across the same way as Pterosaur, where he gets by on his beast mode, but the overall robot is not fantastic. And this one's actually really spindly and gangly in a really, like, Slender Man, not really great way. I put him a couple notches up because he's a dragon, but he's not fantastic as a figure. Steel Wind is really nice. Really nice use of the wings, really nice use of the body and the bulk of the whole thing. Really cool look to him too. Really cool look. I really like Steel Wing. Maybe not Holy Grail tier, but I definitely want him really high up on the list. Oh, Thunder Wing. This is another one that came apart on me. This is another one that really didn't feel very well built, but I don't think he's like terrible. I think he's like, this is somewhere another middling minicon. Maybe a little higher up because, you know, overall look is cool, but not terribly exciting. Dirt Rocket again, unique vehicle, not great robot mode. This one is another one that has a trouble standing up and tries to get by just on the overall look of the vehicle. I'm going to put them low retail as a result. Grindor number 3, and this is a Decepticon Grindor and not anything you can ride whatsoever. It is a monster truck, and as monster truck transformers go, he probably handles things better than any of them by making the tires his legs. Big bulky boy in both modes, as a matter of fact. A little bit Gravedigger for you monster truck fans. Out of the classics minicons, I think this one works really, really well. I'm going to put him low end to premium. I think he works I think that's a nice little spot for him. I like him. Oil Slick. So the vehicle mode's not bad. The robot mode is not bad. It's a little bit weird that he just has these like switchblades for hands kind of thing. But overall's not terrible. So we can put, I think, high up here. Somewhere. I think, yeah, he's definitely not as unique looking as Spiral, but he definitely has that nice little design to him. Okay, another classics one, Dreadwind. The bird mode's great, and again, I like how he uses the wings. The minicons do really well using wings as legs, and he still comes across as a bird, as a flyer with the wing pack for the backpack. What hurts him are these spindly little arms that are just ball jointed in, like tiny little chicken bone arms. Beyond that, he is really nice though. Beyond that, he is really nice. Probably low-end premium. Let's say low-end premium here. Here we go. Terradive. This is probably my favorite minicon of all time. I love the 3-bladed claw mode he can form. I love the Blackbird vehicle mode. It looks super nice. The robot mode looks powerful. Like really, really good all the way around. The only thing that really hurt this toy was fragility, you know, and that will vary depending on which one you get, which, you know, your luck with the plastics. But if yours stayed intact, you got a really, really cool minicon out of it. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. Is this one? It's another Classics Beast. Was this a Snarl? No, it's an Overbite. It's an Overbite. I remember that one. So, our Wolf Minicon is pretty much the same as a lot of the Beast Minicons. It's cool that they did, but they kind of ended up kind of middling on the function and overall look in the robot mode. So, again, cool attempt, not fantastic. And that's going to go with Snarl as well. Aren't you surprised they didn't name it Tigatron? I thought they named it Tigatron. Snarl is... Okay, so it's our first ever proper tiger. It's weird, and it came across this Minicon. But its robot mode is so unappealing. It's so unappealing. It's literally just the back half hanging off as one arm with no hands of any kind. And then the head hanging off as the other arm. No, it's not great. It's not great. Down to the bargain bin you go. Okay, our one entry from Universe 2.0, it is Jolt from the second version of Hot Shot. And so the other Jolt gets by because, it's a nice little solid figure. It's a nice looking little figure. This one is technically better looking because it's better painted, but it just doesn't, it's made so much worse. If the original one had a little bit of trouble standing, that Jolt has a lot of trouble standing. It doesn't help that so much of the bulk is now in the upper body rather than the lower body, so it doesn't even counterweight itself anymore. We only have a few more here. I'm going to go ahead and finish off with the final Armada Minicon, which is another one of our weapon formers, Thunderwing. Thunderwing forms a shuriken of all things that can actually independently spin on the Minicon port. And again, it's a stealth bomber, flying wing style Minicon vehicle mode, which we don't normally get. So high up he goes in the premium. That's going to leave us, man, I can't even see it on my screen anymore. That leaves us with the 3 Minicons that they did in Generations, which the names completely escape me. So we'll do these really quick to finish this off because this is way too long. See, we have the ground-based tank one, the wings. This one I can remember being really kind of awkward and probably the lesser of the batch. Let's see. We have the jet, which I can remember being not too bad. I actually remember thinking the jet was actually pretty good. So we'll stick him like high up. And then the helicopter, which formed the head. I remember suffering a little bit for what it is. So somewhere in the middle here. All right. So yeah. So if we take out the ones we're not grading, that is going to be my list. So the list here is everything that is a traditional Minicon, right? So we didn't do anything ARMS Micron. We didn't do the RID 2015 idea of a Minicon. We didn't do anything that was retroactively called a Minicon, like Soundwaves components or anything like that. It is just straight up traditional style Minicons in this list, and every single mold represented now. This is exhaustive. Yeah, there's just a ton. There's a ton. And you know what? I'm actually surprised I was as gentle as I was. Because it seemed like a lot of Minicons, even though they function-wise don't really work as an independent transformer, they still have something redeeming about them that kept them from being like a total wash. You know, the only bargain bin and flea market ones are ones that were just like really stood out as inferior to the rest. And that's a good sign. It's really like no surprise why Minicons are so well remembered, because really, there really weren't that many bad ones when you really think about it. Now all this is personal preference, right? Like, this is just preferential. This is my opinion. Yours is going to be completely different, and feel free to tell me how different in the comments below. You are more than welcome to. But keep in mind, it's all just in fun and games and fun and toys. So thank you guys for watching a very long tier list video. Probably not my longest, but it's up there. And stay tuned. I promise you the next video is going to be shorter than this. I will see you then. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.